You have never felt smarter. The answer to almost any question is one prompt away. Your code writes itself, your emails sound brilliant, your hardest problems get solved before lunch. But here's the uncomfortable part. A growing stack of research says that the more you lean on AI to think for you, the less your own brain is actually doing, and you can't feel it happening. In one MIT study, people who wrote with ChatGPT showed up to 55% weaker brain connectivity than people who wrote on their own. 83% of them couldn't quote a single line from the essay they had just finished writing. It works like a credit card for your mind. Instant now, and a debt that quietly comes due later. Today, how AI is making us dumber, who it's secretly making sharper, and exactly how to stay on the right side of that line. Welcome back to CyberCreed. Let me be honest up front, because this is not an anti-AI video. I use these tools every single day, and so should you. The point is not to quit, the point is that the exact same tool makes a small group of people sharper and quietly hollows out everyone else, and the difference is almost entirely in how you use it. Here's the path we'll walk. The study that started the panic, why it actually happens inside your head, the terrifying part where the skill doesn't come back, the developer version of all this, and then the money trap that makes it so hard to escape. And finally, the short list of rules the people who stay sharp actually follow. It starts with one study out of MIT's Media Lab in 2025. They wired up 54 people with EEG caps and split them into 3 groups to write essays. One group used ChatGPT, one used a search engine, and one used nothing but their own brain. The brain-only group lit up, strong, densely connected neural activity. The search group less, and the ChatGPT group showed the weakest, most scattered connectivity of all, up to 55% lower than the brain-only writers. The researchers gave it a name, cognitive debt, and the most haunting detail, when they were asked to quote one line from the essay they had just written, 83% of the AI group could not do it. They had produced the words without ever really owning them. Now, to be fair, this is a preprint, it's only 54 people, and it's about one writing task, not proof your brain is melting. But it was the first hard signal that something real is going on. And it is not just essays. Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon surveyed 319 knowledge workers about how they really use AI at work, and they found a chilling pattern. The more you trust the AI, the less critical thinking you do. When they leaned on it, people reported doing meaningfully less mental work across the board. Less analysis, less synthesis, less judgment. Depending on the task, between 55 and 79% of them said they simply put in less mental effort. A separate study of 666 people found a strong negative link between heavy AI use and critical thinking scores, and it was sharpest in the youngest users, the ones who grew up with these tools. The theme never changes. The tool doesn't lower your ceiling, it lowers your effort, and effort is the whole game. So why does this happen? Because of how learning actually works. Your brain builds a skill through effort, and specifically through the effort of retrieving and generating something yourself. Psychologists call it desirable difficulty, and the idea is brutal in its simplicity. The struggle is not a side effect of learning. The struggle is the learning. Every time you force yourself to recall a fact, reconstruct an argument, or debug a problem the hard way, you are physically laying down memory and building a mental model. An AI answer skips every bit of that. It hands you the finished result, so the work that would have made it stick never happens. And here is the real trap. It feels incredible, fluent, fast, effortless, and that feeling of fluency fools you into thinking you learned something when nothing was actually deposited. You didn't learn it, you just watched it happen. Now, the part that should genuinely scare you. The skill doesn't just pause, it erodes, and it does not come back on its own. In a study published in the Lancet, doctors who started using an AI to help spot polyps got measurably worse at finding them on their own. Their unassisted detection rate fell from 28% down to 22%. Worse than before they ever touched the AI. Take the tool away and they were below where they started. In another experiment, nearly 1,000 students used an AI tutor. With it, their scores jumped. But on a later test with the AI taken away, the group that had leaned on it scored 17% worse than students who never had AI at all. This is the drug part of the story, a boost while you're on it, and a withdrawal the moment it's gone. And developers, this one is aimed straight at you because you are the most exposed. When you stop writing code and start just describing it, when you stop debugging and start reprompting until it works, The muscles that made you an engineer, algorithmic thinking, debugging, architecture, quietly atrophy, and there's a rigorous study that makes this almost funny. Experienced open source developers working in their own repositories were 19% slower with AI tools. But they had predicted they'd be 24% faster, and even afterward, they believed the AI had sped them up. That is a 40-point gap between what actually happened and what it felt like. You are a terrible judge of whether it's helping you. The senior developers who stay sharp all live by one rule: never ship a line of code you can't explain. And it gets one level worse. This is the newest finding out of Wharton in 2026. They ran the numbers on over 1,300 people and they named it cognitive surrender. When the AI was right, people's accuracy went up. Fine. But when the AI was wrong, their accuracy dropped 15 points below people using no AI at all. They followed it straight off a cliff. And here's the kicker: their confidence went up either way. Right or wrong, using the AI made them feel more sure of themselves. Sit with that for a second. The tool can make you more confident at the exact moment it's making you more wrong. That is not a productivity boost. That is surrendering the one thing you were supposed to keep: your own judgment. Okay, deep breaths, because the honest story is more interesting than pure doom. AI is not making everyone dumber. It is splitting people into two groups. For experts, it's an amplifier. They already have the judgment to steer it and to catch it when it's wrong, so it makes them faster and sharper than ever. For novices, it's a trap. They can't tell a good answer from a confident sounding bad one, so they absorb the mistakes and never build the judgment in the first place. Harvard research put it bluntly: AI can help you conceive an idea, but it cannot turn a novice into an expert. And offloading the boring stuff is genuinely smart. Nobody needs to hand format a table or memorize boilerplate. The danger is very specific. It is not offloading the grunt work. It is offloading the thinking. And now the part that turns a bad habit into a trap you can't just walk away from: money. Once you've built your entire workflow on AI, once you have deskilled, the price goes up. And this isn't a prediction, it's happening right now. In 2026, GitHub moved Copilot to usage-based billing. Anthropic split its plans so that the heavy agent-style usage gets metered separately. An OpenAI executive said the quiet part out loud: an unlimited AI plan, he said, is like an unlimited electricity plan. It just doesn't make sense. The free lunch era is closing, and here is the vice. The more you depended on it, the less you can do without it, and the more they can charge you for it. You outsourced the skill, and now you are renting it back at a price that somebody else sets. And that's the real shape of the whole thing. You are renting your own brain. The cognitive debt and the financial debt are the same trap, just wearing two different masks. The lead MIT researcher said something that stuck with me. There is no cognitive credit card, she said. You cannot pay this debt off. You can't cram the skill back in the night before you need it. It has to be rebuilt slowly through exactly the kind of effort you've been skipping. So the real question was never whether AI is good or bad. It's whether 5 years from now, you will still own the thing you are renting today. So how do the sharp few actually use these tools without rotting? It comes down to a handful of rules, and every single one is backed by the research. 1. Struggle first, then ask. Take your own real shot at the problem before you prompt, because even a wrong attempt builds more than a handed answer ever will. 2. Make it quiz you. Don't let it answer you. In that student study, the tutor that refused to give the answer and forced them to reason erased the damage completely. 3. Explain it back. If you can't say it in your own words, you don't own it, you're just holding it. 4. Verify, don't trust. Remember, your confidence goes up even when the AI is wrong, so check it. And 5. Keep one skill manual, offload the grunt work, sure, but pick the core skill that makes you you, and keep doing that one by hand. So here's the whole thing in one line. AI won't make you dumb, letting it do your thinking will. The people who win the next decade will not be the ones who used AI the least. They'll be the ones who refuse to hand over the one part that was actually making them smart. Use it like a power tool, not a life support machine. Struggle first, verify everything, and keep at least one blade sharp by hand. Keep the tool, keep your brain. If this video made you think, actually think, then subscribe to Cybercreed. I'll see you in the next one.